Hey guys, so we're going to do part 2 of my mini reviews for products that I talked about back in July 2018. If you are new to my channel, I try and do mini reviews of all the products that I talked about 6 months ago. And as you can probably tell, we're in March and I'm talking about July, so I am a little bit behind. I'm trying to catch up on these mini reviews so that I'm only 6 months back, but I've been having to do part 1 and part 2 for the past few months, and it's just taking me a lot longer than I thought it would. So we are doing part 2 of July 2018. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. I do not want to make July a 3-parter, so let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So I left off with the video that I uploaded on July 13th. It was a collective haul with some PR. There's a lot of stuff in here, so I'm going to be brief. The first 2 things I talked about were these 2 new Glossier cloud paints. They released 2 new colors, Dawn and Storm, and I believe these 2 colors were definitely for like a deeper skin tone. The Storm is a really lovely color. It's something I can use, but I have to be very, very careful with it. It's like a really deep kind of cranberry pink color. It's really pretty. It's on the cooler side. I do like this, and I thought I was going to like this more than I like Dawn, but actually, and you can tell by the bottles here that I used Dawn a little bit more. There's a little bit more product missing there, but Dawn is this bright orange color that I really wasn't sure how this was going to end up on my skin, but let me just do a little swatch here. It's really, really pretty, and it's a lot prettier than you think. Of course, I used way too much. You have to be really careful with these cloud paints, but it just gives your cheeks this really healthy glow. And if you're going for like a warmer kind of bronzy look, it's great. And since I got these in July, this was definitely more the mood I was in. I think I made a mental note to use the Storm more when like fall and winter came, but that never really happened. So I love the cloud paint formula. These colors were a really nice addition to what they had, which were all very, very light and fair skin friendly. So I thought these were a really nice addition to their color line. The next 2 things I talked about were 2 Guerlain products, both of which were limited edition to that summer. So I'm not going to talk about them too much. I liked both very, very much, but you can't get them, so I won't linger there. And then I mentioned some Surratt beauty products. These 3 products were sent to me. So Troy Surratt was kind enough to send me some lid lacquers, which I talked about in the last mini reviews, the part 1 for July 2018. I really enjoyed the lid lacquers, but when they sent that to me, he also threw in a few other things, which I thought was really nice. One of which was the Expressionist Brow Pomade. I love this. So this is what it looks like. It has like a little brush, a little comb. It looks like it's white, but it actually dries down clear. And the best thing about this pomade is that it doesn't flake ever. It's not like a gel where sometimes, like, let's say you run your hand across your brow, or even, you know, if you use hair gel in your hair and it'll flake, and even if it dries clear, the flakes will be kind of white. It doesn't happen with this. There's no flaking at all, and it's clear, and there's a hold, and it's relatively stiff, but it's still malleable. I mean, it's amazing. This is a great, great pomade for your brows. Highly recommend this. He also sent me the Releve mascara. As you can see, it's still in the box. I haven't used this. I have a lot of mascara to get through, but I would like to bust that open sometime soon. And he also sent me the Lip Sleek in Eglantine. I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation of that, but I love the Surratt Lip Slick formula. It's so comfortable. It goes on smooth. There's just enough pigmentation, but it's not like overly pigmented, you know, where you have to be careful in its application. It's just gorgeous. And look at this color. It's like the perfect like mauvey rose color. It's so gorgeous, and it just glides right on. So love these, love this color. And then it looks like I got a few things from Ulta. So I purchased some e.l.f. cleansing wipes. I love them. I go through them quite a bit, especially when I'm swatching. I purchased a couple things from Stila. Both things I haven't used, basically. So I purchased this Vivid and Vibrant eyeshadow duo. I just thought this was so pretty, and I was watching Tina over at the Fancy Face, and she had purchased, I think, a bunch of these, and of course she made them look absolutely beautiful. So I had to pick one up, but I just haven't used this yet. So I have no feedback on that. I apologize. And this Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter in Luminescence is so beautiful, and I played around with this. I can't say that I actually used it, you know, put it on and wore it for the day. But I remember one day I was playing around with makeup and I took this out and I used it, and it's really, really pretty. This texture is so interesting. It's that interesting like Stila-like putty texture. And here's just a quick swatch of that. But it is really, really stunning. There's absolutely no reason why I haven't used it. It's not like I didn't like it. I just have a lot of highlighters. All right, and then I hauled the Bare Minerals Gen Nude eyeshadow palette in copper, and I had two versions of these, and I really, really like them. I really love Bare Minerals eyeshadows, so I decided to pick up this copper, and I love these shadows. If you guys are in the market for like a really easy 6-pan, wear every day kind of eyeshadow, I highly recommend these Bare Minerals ones. They're really great. I have the neutral, the latte, and then this one is the copper. I love them all. And then I picked up two of the Flower Beauty Petal Pout in Naked Blush and Cinnamon Crush. And I really, really liked the colors. I liked the formula initially, but it was one of those lipsticks that after, I want to say like 3 or 4 hours of wear, it really started to feel dry on my lips. So I actually decluttered those already, but they are really beautiful. And if you don't have incredibly dry and sensitive lips like I do, I suffer from eczema on my lips, blah, 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 blah. So I really am very, very sensitive to lipsticks or lip products that feel like even the slightest bit drying on my lips. If you don't have that issue, I think you would really love these. The pigmentation was amazing. They were like a one swipe and done kind of application. They were great, but they were just a little bit drying for my lips. And then I got some stuff from Melt Cosmetics. I picked up the 29 palette. This was a follow-up to their Gemini palette that I really love. That was the one with like the scummy green tones in there. So this one is the 29 palette. And I actually use this in a playing with makeup video where I use makeup that I just haven't gotten a chance to use. They were just sort of forgotten in my collection, and I really enjoyed it. I really like Melt shadows. I know some people have strong opinions about whether they like the ones in the palette versus the ones in the stacks, and they are a little bit different to me, but I think that the quality is still there. I think they're just a little bit different from one another, but I really like the two palettes that I have, the Gemini and this one, and I really like most of the stacks that I have. So I also picked up the Love Sick stack and the Dark Matter stack. Is this the Dark Matter stack? So the Dark Matter stack, I'm embarrassed to say I haven't used yet, but everyone has told me that it's just like the Rust stack, which was the first stack I bought from Melt Cosmetics, and I really, really enjoyed. So you know what? I'm going to take this out. I'm going to use this in a video. And I also purchased the Love 6 stack, another stack that I haven't used, but this is the one with this purple, this blue, which is called Fixated, this kind of sheeny peach color, which is called Amelie, and then here is Love Sick. And I just forgot about these stacks. I haven't used either of them, so I have no feedback for you on those Melt Cosmetics stacks. So I'll be using those stacks in future like playing with makeup videos because I really like their shadows and there's no reason why they should be sitting in my collection unused. Next I talk about the Clé de Peau Radiant Corrector for Eyes. I feel like if I talk about this anymore, it'll be beating like a dead horse. I love this Radiant Corrector for Eyes. I am still using it. I highly recommend it. I know a few friends of mine who have picked it up on my recommendation and they absolutely love it. It's just a great product. It's a great product. It can be brightening. It has a little bit of like a pearly sheen. Just kind of depends on what shade you end up getting in terms of whether or not you want something that's brightening, but it is great. It has such a great creamy consistency. It's really nourishing to the under eyes. I just love it. And I remember that was a new release back then. Gosh, time really flies. I still refer to that one as one of the newer ones in my collection, but it's been a while. I also picked up a whole bunch of Chanel nail polishes. I also picked up their La Gel top coat, and I started doing my own nails, like gel polishes at home. So I don't think I have used these in quite a long time. But if you like Chanel polishes, all of these were lovely. I didn't have any problems with like one color over the other. And then the rest of this haul is skincare. So some of these things I'll end up talking about in like my upcoming empties video, which I need to do. But let's just go down this list. So the Paradox Marrakesh Liquid Gold. This was something that was sent to me. So this is what the bottle looks like. And it is basically comprised of organic argan oil and rose oil. This is an extremely moisturizing oil. So I actually keep this on my bedside. I feel like maybe I've used maybe half or 2/3 of this, but it comes with this really lovely pump. And what I do is actually use it on my hands. So I was using a Chanel hand cream, which I think I talked about maybe in my last mini reviews or the one before. And it's a little bit light. So what I'll do is put this oil on first, and then I'll put that Chanel hand cream on. And that's what I've been doing for my hands. So I don't know, in my head, I always use argan oil for my body. I never use it for my face. But if you guys have used argan oil for your dry skin, like on your face, and you like it, let me know what your experience is. But I've been using this on my hands and it is very, very lovely. And then I also talked about the Kogendo Herbal Spa Mist. This was sent to me and I remember I took this to New York with me right after I hauled this. I can't remember when I was in New York. I guess it was in the summertime. But this herbal mist is very similar to the Josh Rosebrook moisturizing mist. But I like this one a little bit more only because it's in this like aluminum bottle or metal bottle. I actually don't know what type of metal it is. So it keeps the mist really, really cool. So it just feels like really, really refreshing on the skin. I'm really hot right now, so this was very helpful. But I have a lot of face mists. So I remember using this in the summertime, and then once the weather got cool, I kind of moved over to different mists. But I love this one. It's great. It like absorbs right into your skin. It smells like the spa. It's really beautiful. And then I picked up the Rodan Mermaid Glow Body Oil. I had purchased a lot from this line, but I skipped on the body oil. But I was watching Flower Bomb, Natalie, and she picked this up on one of her friend's recommendations. She just kept talking about how much she loved the smell and the scent and how great it felt. So I picked it up and I really enjoyed it. I think I talked about this actually in my last mini reviews because I thought I picked it up with the rest of the line, but I forgot that I had not purchased this initially and waited to get it. And it's great. It has like 3 different oils. You kind of have to like mix it up before you put it on your body. It says to mix gently. So I usually just kind of go back and forth a little bit. And then I just, you know, I'll use a little bit and I'll just put it on my legs or whatever. I was being stingy with it because it's so beautiful. It's such a special product that I didn't want to like run out of it. So I'm kind of using it slowly. I have a lot of body oils too, but I'm really enjoying this product. And then I hauled the La Mer Renewal Oil. I'm going to talk about this in my empties. I like this, but it's definitely not my favorite oil, and I don't think I'm going to be repurchasing it, only because it's very thin. For all the other facial oils that I have and love, I use like 2 to 3 drops. And I can spread it all over my face. When it comes to this one, for some reason, I have to use like 5 or 6 drops. It's thinner and it absorbs much more quickly. And while I don't think that speaks either highly or not highly of the product, I just feel like I'm using so much more of this product than I am of other products. So anyway, I'll talk a little bit more about this in my empties, but I think the oil is fine. I just would prefer to use less product for the same effect. And then I also hauled the La Mer Replenishing Oil Exfoliator. I love this exfoliator. When I had initially read reviews on this product before I purchased it, a lot of the comments were that they thought the granules were too big and too rough. I don't find that to be the case. And when I first started using this and I was being like really careful, they even tell you if you want to break down the granules before you get them on your face, just kind of mix a little bit of water in with it and it'll start to break down and then you can put it on your face. I started that way. I actually use like a spray like this and I would spray it into my hand, like just 2 spritzes, and then just start to kind of like massage it into my hands. And it did. It broke down the little bits and they ended up being like very, very gentle on my skin. I don't do that anymore. I just go straight in with this and it is wonderful. I love the like oil base to it. It just is so nourishing. It feels so, so great. So I love this one. I have a couple of exfoliators that I kind of rotate through. So I only end up using this one like once a month, but this one is probably, it's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite exfoliators. So that is the La Mer Oil Exfoliator and I love it. The La Mer Micellar Water. So I'm almost done with this bottle. When I purchased it, I still had like a giant bottle of my Kogendo Cleansing Spa Water, which is my favorite makeup remover. And so I finished that and I was like, okay, I'll move over to the La Mer. And when I use the Kogendo Cleansing Spa Water, I can go right over my eyes, like no big deal. It's such an effective makeup remover, but it's super gentle. Like if you pour it in your eyes, yes, it'll probably sting. But if I just get a little bit like from my cotton pad into my eyes, I can't feel it at all. And so I'm very kind of like carefree with that makeup remover. You can't with this La Mer. This stung the crap out of my eyes. The first time I used it, I didn't realize it was going to be like that. So this one is a little bit stronger. I don't like this as much as my Cleansing Spa Water, so I am not going to be repurchasing this. Again, I feel like this will end up in my empties because I am almost done. So what I do is I'll put this on a cotton pad and I'll remove the makeup like around the perimeter of my face with this. and then I'll go with my cleansing spa water and remove my eye makeup with that, or I'll use like a waterproof eye makeup remover for my eye makeup. But this is just, it's a little bit more like soapy than my Kogendo, and I feel like this leaves like a little bit of a film on my face, where the Kogendo is like nothing was ever there. It's absolutely amazing. So this was okay, just not as good as the Kogendo. And then the La Mer, the tonic. I don't even have my empty bottle. I think that was like in my last empties. I go through that pretty quickly. So I love the La Mer, the tonic. It's like a toner. It rebalances my pH. My skin feels like nothing has ever touched it before. It feels brand new. And I actually switched over to a Sicily toner, and I like the La Mer more. So I'm pretty much done with the Sicily, and I'm gonna go back and repurchase the La Mer, the tonic. I'm just holding out for the Sephora VIB sale for that. But yeah, I love La Mer, the tonic. It's the one that comes in the same exact bottle as this, but the liquid is like a light pink. All right, so that was it for the July 13th collective haul. The next video I uploaded was on July 14th, and it was a review of the Charlotte Tilbury Bar of Gold. Now, this ended up in my best of 2018, so I don't think there's much more to say other than I love this. I continue to love it. I love all of the colors. I'll mix them all together. I'll focus on one. I won't focus on the others. I mean, I just love, absolutely love this formula, the colors, this whole thing. I just think it looks absolutely wonderful on the skin. So that's the Charlotte Tilbury Bar of Gold. So the next video I uploaded is the Nordstrom anniversary sale, and I uploaded this on July 15th. And I'm looking at the list of products that I talked about, and most of these products were limited edition. They were like special editions for this Nordstrom anniversary sale, so I'm not going to talk about these. So the La Mer Reparative Skin Tint SPF 30. I think I had this longer than the Nordstrom anniversary sale. So I don't know, maybe I was recommending this product, but I love this, but I believe La Mer has discontinued this. If you're seeing this pop up, I feel like they're just kind of getting rid of inventory, and I hear they are going to be replacing this with something, but it's not going to be exactly this. It's going to be basically a new product, and I think it's going to have SPF in there. So we'll see. But I mentioned this product, and if you guys have been with me for any length of time, you know how much I love this, how upset I was to hear that this was being discontinued. So anyway, that is the La Mer Reparative Skin Tint. I have it in the shade Light 02. I even have a backup tube of it. I bought a backup when I heard that this was going away. And then the only thing else that I mentioned in here that was limited edition to this Nordstrom sale, but they've come back out with it, is the Charlotte Tilbury Pretty Glow palette. That's this face palette here. So we have like a highlight, a contour, blushes, and some actual highlights here. I should call this actually a brightening powder. And I thought this was really, really lovely. I thought it was really pretty, but it is for a very specific skin tone, like fair to light. I think even if you're a light medium, I think that this may be a little bit too light for you. But if you are fair to light, it's an incredibly pretty palette. I thought all of the powders in here were really nice. They felt really nice on the skin. If you have a similar skin tone to me, I think this works fine. I think if you have even just a darker skin tone than mine, just by a little bit, like this will stop working. These will end up being very, very light. So this was for a very specific skin tone, which I thought was kind of interesting. And when they re-released this, I thought for sure they were going to be coming out with like more versions for different skin tones, but they haven't. It seems like this is still the only one. But this is the Pretty Glow palette. And then on July 18th, I uploaded a video focused on the Chanel Le Mat de Chanel collection. I purchased 2 of the matte nail polishes. I did not like these nail polishes. In fact, I think I mentioned them in a like recent fails video shortly after I recorded this one. They just went on kind of clumpy and uneven, and I thought they were really difficult to like get even, and they just looked a little bit messy on the nails. So I did not like this matte formula. They did not work out for me. This was also when they came out with one of my favorite Chanel quads, and that is Clair Obscure. And I absolutely love this one. It's just a great everyday quad. If you're not looking for anything complicated, you're not really into makeup, you just want something to be able to throw on, look polished, look presentable, maybe for work, maybe if you just need to run out to the supermarket, this is what I would recommend, because there's only 4 colors in there. The formula is great. No decision making necessary. You can just throw this on and you're good to go. Other quad that they released is a little bit funkier. This is called Quiet Revolution, and this has the blues in there. The formula, again, amazing, amazing. I love this newer matte formula that Chanel has been using. I have not used this quad very much. I think I used it once or twice after I did this video, and I really love it. I just don't do like blue base looks very often. I've pulled it out for this color a lot. I always remember this color, and now that cooler tone looks are kind of back in. I always think, oh, this is such a great kind of like easy crease color. So I've pulled it out for this color quite a bit, but in terms of using the entire quad or thinking of the entire quad, I want to say I only used it like twice after this video, but it is lovely, and I love the formula of these mattes. And then I picked up the blush in Reflex that was limited edition. I can't find it online. If that changes, I'll definitely leave a link to it down below, but I'm not even gonna bother showing you. And then lastly, I talked about these Stilo Ombre contours. They came out with 3 new colors, and they came in these like matte barrels. So one is basically a black, one is like a steely blue, and one is Contour Clair. This is like a putty kind of color. I love these crayons. They're slightly chubbier stick than like a regular eyeliner. They twist up, they twist down. They just stay put. They go on really nicely. When I put them on my waterline, when I tightline, when I put them on my actual lid, like no matter what the situation, they always stay put. They don't smear, they don't smudge, they don't transfer. They just go on nicely. And I really like the colors that they come in. There's other ones that aren't in this matte formula. They have like a little bit of metallic in them. I love the electric brown. I've talked about that ad nauseum, but these are just great. I love them, and I love having them. So that was the last of this Le Matte de Chanel collection. And then the next video I uploaded was on July 21st, and it was the Natasha Denona Super Glow powders. I remember being so excited for these. I love these powders, and it was interesting because I got all 3, and I had just review the Charlotte Tilbury Bar of Gold, and I thought it was going to be basically like the Natasha Denona version of those 3, but the colors are actually quite different. So the Fair is basically like, it's so similar to the Light Medium, it's just the undertone that's a little bit different. So the Fair is a little bit cooler basically, and then the Light Medium is a little bit of a warmer toned. I think you can probably see like the yellow in there, but I like the light medium a little bit more for my skin tone. It's less obvious. I like these powders because they can go on in a really subtle way. If you just kind of like lightly brush it onto your skin, they're not like va va voom. And I actually talked about these being more of a subtle highlight. I think when I did my Best of Beauty 2018, I talked about subtle highlights and really bright highlights, and this fell into my subtle highlight category. And some people were like, how is that a subtle highlight for you? And I was like, well, what do you mean? And I realized if you put on just like a couple more layers than just like an initial dusting, and you really kind of like work it in, it will be beaming. It will be a really, really bright, bright highlight. But I just hadn't been using them that way. I don't know why. But the biggest surprise was this number 3 color. So this is called Bronze. And I remember ordering thinking, I'm not going to use that, but I wanted to review it. And when I look at this, I just see orange. It just looks orange to me. But this is such a beautiful highlight, and I actually just love using it. It ends up being an obvious highlight. It ends up being something you see on my cheeks, but it's just so cool. I'm actually going to put some on right now, because I feel like these powders are sheer enough. It just gives you like a bronzy, like yellow kind of glow. It's so cool. This was definitely the biggest surprise for me. And I think out of all 3 of these, I've ended up using the bronze one the most. I'll definitely use the light medium if I just want like a normal highlight. But the bronze one, I definitely reach for. When I open up that drawer, even if I think I'm gonna be using the light medium, I'm like, oh, the bronze, let me use that today. All right, and then on July 22nd, I put up a video on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette and some of the new lip glosses. So let me just talk about these lip glosses. I got these 3. I haven't used them more than once after this video because they have such a strong vanilla cupcake scent that I just couldn't take it. They still do. I couldn't take it. I'll probably end up decluttering these, but I love the actual lip glosses. I love these colors They're so much fun. They're so beautiful on the lips. They're like the Pat McGrath lip glosses, but there's a little bit more pigmentation in there. And I was kind of hoping, I mean, it's been since July, and I just can't, like, it's too sweet. I don't mind when it's subtle, but it's so potent. So unfortunately, I love the actual glosses. I hate the fragrance. It's too much. The Norvina palette, I love this palette. I think it's beautiful. I have used this quite a bit. You can see I use the metallic shades a little bit more than these matte shades. I like these metallic shades. They're really creamy. There's like high pigmentation. They look beautiful on the lids. Her matte shadows are fine. I just don't find them to be incredibly special. But I remember going in here and just picking up one of these metallic shades and just kind of like adding it onto a lid. That's why my metallic shades are much more beat up than the matte shades down there. The Norvina and the Soft Glam palette are probably my two favorite ABH palettes. They're just really pretty to me and very, very like wearable. All right, and last but not least, I ended out the month doing a concealer week. So we've already talked about the Clé de Peau Radiant Corrector for eyes. I loved it. And then next I talked about the Guerlain concealer. That one is a very like high coverage concealer, and I feel like I talked about that as well. One of my viewers, you guys are the best, you actually recommended and said that it made all the difference for you to use this concealer under foundation instead of over foundation, almost like it's a corrector. So I actually have to do that and kind of get back to you guys again on this Guerlain concealer. Next, I talked about the La Mer, the concealer. That's the one that comes in the stick. It's okay. It's not great. When it comes to La Mer, I expect a little bit more, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. The Kogan Do Moisture Concealer, that one I really liked. That one I felt like had a nice balance between having coverage, but not feeling too tacky, not feeling too drying under the skin. It just looked really, really nice under my eyes. Oh, the Bobbi Brown Instant Full Coverage Concealer. That one I actually decluttered. That one was way too thick and tacky. I mean, it's full coverage. I mean, it's in the name. I should have known. And I think if you really need something like that, I think that one is great. But again, I don't like a thick kind of concealer, especially under my eyes. If I can feel it under my eyes, I don't like that. And then the YSL All Hours Concealer, I did not like. That one I decluttered pretty quickly. That just sunk right into all of my fine lines. It just aged my under eyes pretty quickly. I did not like that one at all. And then lastly, I talked about the Dior Skin Forever Undercover Concealer. That one I really like a medium coverage, like it's just a middle of the road, nice concealer. And I will pull that out to this day and use it occasionally. It's really nice. The shade that I got, if you do go back and watch this video, the shade that I got is not as brightening as I would normally get for a concealer. It's more like closer to my skin tone. It's more like foundation shade. So it's just a nice kind of like no makeup kind of day kind of concealer. And that's when I pull it out. So that is it for all the products that I talked about in July. Whew. That was a lot. Hopefully my mini reviews for products that I talked about in August 2018 won't be a two-parter, but you never know. So definitely subscribe down below if you're into these mini reviews. They will be coming a little bit more quickly so that I can catch up and that I'm not beyond 6 months out. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please comment down below if you have any additional questions on these products, and I'll see you in my next video.